Hey everyone. So first of all, apologies for sitting here. I'm actually in severe health. I'm here somewhat against medical advice, but there was AV to be done, so I just showed up. Anyways, this here is yelling at the people and/or the thinking sand isn't helping. If you've heard anything about the thinking sand is these silly little things we call computers, phones, etc. And they were a mistake. Teaching sand how to think was a mistake, and we're all suffering with the consequences. And yeah. So once more, the fact that I'm sitting on a chair is because I cannot go standing 15 consecutive minutes currently without falling unconscious, potentially. So yeah. And I will have several opinions. If you've seen any one of my talks in the last I want to say year and a half, they're mostly opinions. It's less of a constructive me teaching you something about the industry, more than me ranting about the industry and you catching on to what's wrong in the meantime. I am a burnt out human, allegedly. I do cybersecurity, information security, intentionally vaguely described. I work for a fintech that I don't necessarily want to associate with any longer. So that's that. On the side, I touch grass most of the time, or I try to. I try not to die. I've been failing at that the last week. Just random nerd stuff. And the rest of the time, I do events such as this and just show up. Oh yeah, and I do stupid fun things, but that's not exactly part of this, the scope of this. But yeah, I do various JavaScript war crimes. I cause issues. I cause problems. These are perfectly normal things for me to be doing. Anyways, in the 60s, we kind of taught sand how to think. And this has made a lot of very specific people very angry, and been widely, by those same very specific people, been regarded as a bad move. Because at the time where we were teaching sand how to think, real sane people were copying BASIC from magazines into computer terminals to learn what these things were doing. And they were doing this for fun, because that was a valid occupation at the time. And probably still is, if anyone finds a computer running BASIC. You can always run an emulator, but anyways. The people that learned how to do computers this way are a completely different type of computer enthusiast, computer toucher, than people that, exist nowadays. Because society's expectation of basically the evolution of how people would interact with computing is that people would be born in the sauce and automatically be good at things. Be good at computers, be good at technology. We'd be interfacing with the technology using chips in our brains or whatever. And the expectation was that they would be good at it. The problem is they were extremely incorrect. If you ask someone how to find a recipe for something very specific, such as a cake, they might find it. The problem is might, because even though we have search engines, specific tools for all of this, no one knows actually how to get the computer to give you the information you need. They ask a magical search box to give them potentially good results. And this is why you get occasionally results like, yes, it's perfectly safe to put glue in your pizza dough because it makes it more consistent. And that's also like a byproduct of technical literacy. If you don't know how to look for the information, you are going to get burned by whatever information you do manage to find. The other side of this is everyone that kind of like grew up with this, so I'm in my mid-20s, I grew up with computers. I grew up with handheld consoles. I got a mobile phone when I was like in my teens. I was kind of in this kind of golden age of the technology is new enough that no one fucked around with it. No one made it into a problem actively. No one was throwing ads into my face or trying to make me use some other search engine or give me AI-populated results. And with enshittification, which is a term which has already been said a few times today, finding the information has gotten quite complicated. And so blaming newcomers or just younger generations for not being able to use the technology is not really a viable option. Like, one can teach them, but the technology itself has gotten stupider in the wrong way. It's not gotten stupid easy, it's gotten stupid invasive, or stupid gives you the wrong results. And that's not great. The word bespokeism, which I completely did not make up for the purposes of this talk, kind of goes around the fact that we have a lot of problem cases. Sorry. And what a lot of people are trying to do nowadays is create solutions for every single type of problem that exists and market it as a different solution. And that to me is a problem because you don't need to do this. You can have a solution that fits multiple problems. Or you could stop doing various declinations of the same problem and marketing it as a separate problem. And we have too many solutions which are now available to solve everything. You want to know the weather? Instead of looking out the window, just ask an AI, or ask Alexa, or ask whomever, ask Siri. And it's like, okay, well, it's pissing rain outside. The weather. Finding the weather in London, okay, we have the weather service for this. Why are we using 17 different services to find information about the weather? And this is the same thing for every single type of information we want to look for. You want to find specific CVs? Oh, look at our specific industry competitive CV research engine, which uses the very specific keywords that you will be wanting to use. It's bullshit. It fits in a square hole. That's just it. The problem is also in the industry is that we have a massive brain drain going on. It's not even small, it's not even slow, it's just massive. Because the people that were doing BASIC on their small terminals in the 60s, they're retiring. They're becoming consultants. And they were the only people that at least had a sane understanding of like the limits of technology and didn't want to go too far beyond those limits. People are also incorrectly / not incentivized to actually learn anything or progress or make anything new or participate in like their work or anything of that type. And then they just leave because the industry does not exactly reward people. Information, once more, harder to find. Finding the information to do very specific things, now you have to go through like 5 different Medium blogs, which are all extremely incorrect, to then find a resource from 2004, which was linked on the web archive somewhere, to find, oh, okay, it's like 3 command lines. However, that information is like 17 layers deep. And that's also kind of insane. And once more, learning isn't rewarded. If you're trying to learn something to like actually do the thing you're supposed to be working on, the question comes, well, why isn't it done? We have our KPIs. We need to like close these tickets. We need to do all these things. So you better have learned but remained productive, which is completely stupid because sure, you have people or companies going like, oh yeah, we have like a learning budget and everything, or we send people to conferences on the weekend so that they can like learn stuff outside of their work hours apparently, and then they still have to like do the 9 to 5 or like the 8 to 8 sock grind during the week, and then just still continue to work. And none of what they want to do or what would be beneficial to them is actually being rewarded because no one cares. And this kind of leads to like a massive drain where many companies don't even know how half of their stuff works. And half is the optimist metric. It's an optimistic value. Because you have machines running somewhere in the back end that haven't been updated since 2003, which are running some age-old version of Linux, which just, it works. It has survived 3 power outages, it has survived the stock market crash, it's fine. Do not touch it. No one knows what it's doing, no one knows how it works, it's fine. And at some point the machine breaks. And your company breaks because no one knows how it worked. And it was extremely relevant. Sorry. And I think the last point I kind of want to address with this part is just, we have a lot of shiny things now. A lot of very shiny things. Oh God, like, without paying much attention during the talks because I was helping set up the AV and like we had problems, as we always do. I've heard the words ChatGPT 13 times. I've heard the words AI 8 times. I probably just dissociated often enough upon hearing the first letter that just I ignored at least 3 times as much. Thank you for not fucking this up, Leonard. And this is a massive problem because like the only people that could benefit from these tools, in my opinion, are the people that already have enough experience to be able to A, filter out if the content is relevant, B, actually know what they're asking, C, process the fucking response, and then be able to like understand how to then include it in, well, their general flow of what they're trying to get done. And everyone's like, oh yeah, just pipe a bunch of stuff at it and then analyze the results. And it's like, no. Like, you can tell a SOC engineer, oh yeah, here's an AI output of stuff. And it's like, okay, fine. But like, you would want someone to actually look at the raw data at some point, or like at a not AI process, but at an actually like numerically aggregated with like math instead of just fancy math that hallucinates. And yeah, the only way that this becomes useful, in my opinion, in the long run, is to people that actually know what they're doing. Except we have people that are just coming into the industry all the time and just being given a computer, work credentials, and it's like, oh, just ask Copilot. You'll be fine. Just ask the AI. Just send OpenAI, like, upload a CSV up to OpenAI of like all of our threat detections that we had today. This is fine. Nothing can go wrong. And it's like, how did we get here as like an industry where we claim to want to do security and we put a bunch of data in shiny tools that we don't necessarily understand or don't want to understand because people paid money for it, because people saw shiny and then Like, it's the military grade of this era of cybersecurity. And that's just bullshit. At least, once more, one of my opinions. Anyways. And like, as of very recently, what in the name of fuck is vibe coding? Like, seriously. Oh yeah, I just asked the AI to take my entire project and like add a feature, and like I have no idea what I'm doing. It's who built this? Who thought this was a great idea? Who came up with the concept? And then like now you have like a book being sold by O'Reilly, I think, that was announced like 3 days ago or 2 days ago on how to do vibe coding. It's like, no, we should not be incentivizing this type of behavior as an industry, as people, as a community, because it sucks. We are losing so much in capability, and we're not transferring it onto the next generations, which for now is fine. I mean, everyone that has a job, that has gotten a job in the last X years, that has actually like had any experience, is going to be employable until they're dead, which is fine because the age of retirement will be at like 120 by then. But like, yeah, we're kind of like digging our own graves as an industry. And it's, once more in my opinion, but we're going to have to deal with that sooner than later. Anyways, not exactly the end. Because I'm actually angry. If you've not noticed, I'm actually somewhat emotional about this. This entire status quo is making me extremely angry. Because, well, there's nothing I can do about it, except rant about it to 40, 50 people in a room, and hope someone takes a positive outcome out of this. Despite everything that we have, the resources, the information, the community, conferences, such as this conference, the good intentions, everyone's collective goodwill, I feel we're still failing because we just don't have the power to stop any of this. And I'm not angry at the people. That's the most important part. It's not because it's a failing that people intended to fail. This is not a thing that people are doing on purpose, except very specific people that probably deserve to be shot. But I'm not sorry. I'm not angry at the people on either side of this. Like people that will have an opinion on AI, on how to use it, on whether they should use it, that's fine. Like, in my opinion, you are incorrect, but you can be incorrect. This is allowed. We have the freedom to be incorrect. And you can proselytize it. I'm just not part of that camp. And I won't be angry at you if you do. I've just given up. Because we don't have the power to change any of this. It's the only consequent realization of all of this is we don't have the power to change any of this as individuals, or even as like people working at companies. Even if you're working in like the big four or anything, you as an individual do not have the power to change any of this. And that sucks. But it's the one realization that just kind of lets you give up. So yeah, I'm tired. Dealing with the overloading of information just in general coming from the industry is nigh on impossible and extremely draining. Tack on just everything outside of the industry, whether it's just technology, politics, the world, etc. You don't really like have the time to adjust. And you will burn out. This is like factually probable that 100% of you will have burnt out once in your life. This sucks, by the way. Humans should not be driven to burnout. The expected desire at 30 should not be, I should go retire and like become a goose farmer somewhere in the Appalachians. because that's not healthy. And if you're like me and able to vaguely function with all your check engine lights on, you won't for long. Ask me how I know. I'm like 5 months post deep into burnout hole. It sucks. But hey, we keep on doing, I guess. You as an individual cannot be the cost of everyone's bad decisions. So like, just instead of fighting it, just, you don't have the power, so like, what are you gonna do about it? So, and that's kind of like that. At some point, I kind of want to leave my corner of the cybersecurity industry. I'm not going to go farming geese. I might go back to development, I might go to like systems engineering or something. I don't give a fuck. The only place I don't want to be is right where I am right now, because it sucks. I'm also kind of done with giving talks. I've given like 20 in the last 4 years. The last 3 have been rants. One of them has been about the state of people, what the hell is decentralization, and people having extremely incorrect opinions about it. One of them was about how startups want to play big and fail at security and no one cares. And the last one is this one, which kind of closes things off nicely. And yeah, when I'm gone from cybersecurity, please don't build the torment nexus. From classic sci-fi novel, don't create the torment nexus. Because I feel that people have to say this now when you consider the amount of bullshit that comes out of several companies. Because, yeah, apparently this bears saying. So yeah, that's me. That's my time. If anyone has questions, please. No questions? Perfect.